Hey everybody, this is going to be the syllabus tour video, and just so you know, you will find it by going to either the syllabus tab, or if you go to Welcome History 131, there is the syllabus right there. And then of course here's the folder in which you are watching this video for a little bit of video tutorial inception. All right. And syllabus, yay! All right, so general information about the class, like prerequisites, core requisites, blah, blah, blah. There are none of those for this class. And just so you know, the last day to drop the class without a grade penalty is March 26th of this year. So that's a while off. As I mentioned in that welcome video, I check my email very regularly. So I check it at least once in the morning and once in the evening, and if it's a Monday through Thursday, that means I'm on campus, so I tend to check it even more often. So please contact me with any issues that you have, okay? So we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff in here. So we are going to talk about pre-Columbian North America. We're going to talk about contact with colonizers. We're going to talk about colonial period, the American Revolution, the early Republic, the antebellum period, and the Civil War and Reconstruction. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things. And just keep in mind that, again, this class is 100% online. You're going to submit everything through Blackboard. As you will see in the Blackboard tour video, we have everything very clearly labeled. I am a bit of an organizational freak, so I tend to keep things pretty clearly organized. In that assignments tab on Blackboard, every single week is laid out with the dates of that week, and within each week's folder you have all the assignments for that week, so everything is very neatly and clearly organized. You are going to do a few things in this class, like write argument-driven, evidence-based essays. There will be 2 of them. You're going to practice critical thinking, which is awesome. It's good stuff. Critical thinking is the ability to question the arguments that you were given. So not just saying, oh yeah, sure, I was told something, I will accept that as true. No, you will be comparing multiple sources and trying to find the truth through that comparison of sources and critically thinking about the arguments that you're being given, which also means challenging arguments that you're given, even mine. If you have evidence that supports a different argument, do it. Challenge me. Because critical thinking is extremely important. We are going to talk about change, continuity, and contingency. Change and continuity, of course, fairly self-explanatory. Contingency is these little moments of unpredictability, things that could have gone one way but went a very different way. And just, you know, history is made of many moments of contingency. There, of course, is also moments of huge change and moments of continuity where things stay the same. But these little moments of contingency are some of my favorite things to talk about, so we're going to talk about those and some of their importance. And there are a bunch of other things written here, and you can read, so if you would like to read those, you can read those. Textbooks. Your textbooks are these books. So for History 131, you have Give Me Liberty, Volume 1, 5th edition. This is your textbook, and this is what it looks like. It's in the bookstore. It's other places too. So this is what you need for the textbook, and I already looked at the bookstore textbook. It is this one. It's not like a JCC version. It should look like this. Your document reader. This is the most important one. This is Voices of Freedom, Volume 1 as well, 5th edition as well. And this is primary documents. This is what people were actually writing at the time. The textbook is a secondary document. It's a secondary source because it's a scholar writing about what happened. This book is primary documents, which means that it's stuff like advertisements for runaway slaves and servants. This is something we're going to talk about when we talk about slavery and how people resisted that system. So these are actual, there's a little introduction, then there's a break, and these are actual ads for runaway slaves and servants. So really good primary documents that can help us sort of understand better what was going on during the time. So those are your books. So Give Me Liberty and Voices of Freedom, Volume 1, 5th edition, Eric Foner. There will be other additional readings on Blackboard. For example, week 1 is all Blackboard readings and lecture. You do not have to have your books yet to complete the materials and the discussion board for week 1, because I know that sometimes folks are waiting for their aid, or you can't quite get the book yet for whatever reason, or you get in the class late, so you can complete week 1's assignments without your books. We do not use e-text either, just FYI. So we're going to talk about the rise of the early American Republic and its subsequent division. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. Many, 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 many things. Some things that hopefully you will be interested in. There are some major themes like, what does freedom mean? We're also going to talk about what mainstream history has left out or ignored. And the proper relationship between individuals and government. These are all things we're going to be talking about and discussing. And of course, the proper relationship, it depends on who's defining that relationship, what they think proper is, and whether or not we agree with it, right? So you may not agree with Andrew Jackson's idea of the proper relationship between individuals and government, or you may think it's great. So, yeah, we are going to talk about a lot of stuff that like high school history classes don't talk about. We, of course, are going to tackle these big guys like Washington and Jefferson and Jackson and Lincoln and everybody. We're going to talk about them, of course, because they're important to the story. But what were the regular people doing? I am really, really big on social history, which is the regular people. So what were everyday, ordinary folks up to during this period? We're going to talk about that as well. Grading, the thing you're probably most interested in. So the first thing is participation. That is 20% of your grade. You are going to be graded on participation through discussion boards. So discussion boards are every week that you do not have a test or a paper, you will have a discussion board. And they're sort of like mini papers. You are going to respond to questions, and then you're going to comment on at least 2 other students' posts, and I'll be commenting on threads as well. So it's just big conversation. And be sure to use sources and cite your sources. And when we go through the Blackboard tour, you will see that there is a discussion board FAQ document. I will go through that. And you will also see that there is a video under week 1 on how to cite your sources. So when you write that week 1 discussion board, you will know how to cite those sources, because you need to include your textbook and a lecture. And, well, week 1 you don't need to include your textbook because you don't have anything from your textbook for week 1. But most weeks you'll need to include textbook, lecture, and at least 1 primary document. For week 1 you will need to include lecture and at least 1 primary document. Exams. You have 3 exams in here. They total 40% of your grade. So the first exam is worth 10%. I tend to make the first one worth a little bit less because some of you may have never taken a test with me before and you don't know how that's going to go, and it's hard to figure out the style. You guys might be still trying to figure out some of the material in that first beginning of the exam or beginning of the semester and the flow of the class. So I tend to make the first one worth a little bit less. Exams 2 and 3 are each worth 15%, so those count a little bit more. They are multiple choice, true, false, and identification questions. Identification is writing, so surprise, more writing. So you will be writing out some things on the test as well, and there is a video explaining exactly what is expected of you for identification, and there is even an identification example answer on the week of the test in Blackboard. So on the week of the first exam. So you will be able to see exactly what is expected of you. I provide study guides too, at least 2 weeks before the exam. Study guides are available with all the terms. The terms come from the keywords in our lecture outlines. So each week you have a lecture outline and you get my notes that I read from when I do lectures. So all of the exam terms come from the keywords on the lecture outlines. So everything is given to you like well in advance in multiple places. So you should be able to prepare in the ways that work for you best. Exams will take place on week 6, week 12, and week 17. The last 40% of your grade is papers. Yay, papers. So you're going to write 2 3 to 5 page argumentative essays based on course readings. This is not a research paper course. Neither of these papers are research papers. You will use your textbook, lecture, and documents to answer the questions, okay? Each paper is worth 20%, and that is pretty big, so please spend time on it. If you want to send me an outline and ask me questions, please contact me. If you want to contact, if you have a friend in the class and you guys want to exchange rough drafts and give each other comments, that's great too. Proofreading, super important also. So yeah, we will have 2 papers, one on week 4. So the first one's very early, but then you get it out of the way. And on week 14. The reason why the first paper is so early is because you will have done 3 discussion boards by then. So you will have gotten a decent amount of detailed feedback on your writing from me already when that paper is due on week 4. And papers are submitted through SafeAssign to check for plagiarism. I've had students plagiarize. It is exhausting. It is a lot of work for me. It is not awesome at all. It really just hurts you in the long run. And it gives me extra paperwork to fill out because then I have to report you. So please, 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 please do your own work. For late work, discussion boards are attendance and participation. You can submit late discussion boards if you have a documented excuse. So if there's a doctor's note, if there's a death in the family, I need documentation, but I will accept late work for that for a discussion board. Papers are also the same. Well, papers are accepted late. I will say that. But there's a point deduction. So you lose 3 points every day that they are late. That includes weekends. So if a paper is due Friday and you don't turn it in until Monday, you get 9 points off that paper. So that's almost a full letter grade. So I recommend turning it in late. Again, I will accept late papers without any late penalty if you have a documented excuse. Tests can be made up with a documented excuse, but otherwise late tests are not possible. So you get plenty of warning and reminders the week that you have an exam. The exam is open on Monday and not due until Friday. So you have the entire week to take it. So even if you work on a Friday or whatever, you can still take the exam a different day of the week. So there is no reason except for, a hospital visit or something like that, which in that case you can make up the test. Otherwise, there's really no reason to miss the test. We are going to write a lot in here, as you may have guessed by now, so I provided a link to the citations builder at NC State's library website, so you can click on that, and papers are going to be in MLA format, so you will want to do MLA. Now, I write in Chicago format because historians do that, because it's amazing. So if you wanted to, I could send you some information on Chicago. It's footnotes, so it's pretty awesome. But you do not have to do that. We will do MLA as our required source because folks in the Writing Center can help you with MLA. Some things that you want to do. You want to check email. I will send out announcements at least once a week. They will go to you via email. Hopefully, I've had some problems where a few of them don't always go. So you might want to also check the announcements page. But you'll be getting emails from me at least once a week. So please, please, please check your email. I recommend you check it daily because if you've submitted your test and Blackboard ate it, and I email you and say, hey, did you mean to miss a test? Or, your paper's not in, or, I won't check up on you all the time, but if you normally turn stuff in and then you turn in a test and it's got 2 answers and the rest have no answers, I might email you and say, did you do this intentionally? And if you don't get back to me about it, then that's what the grade is going to be, right? I can reopen the test for you to take it if we can see that Blackboard, destroyed it. But you're not going to know if you don't check your email. So be sure to check your email. I give a lot of grade feedback in my grades on Blackboard, so you'll want to check that as well. We're going to move really, really fast. So please, please, please be prepared to read, watch the lecture videos, do the readings, be a part of discussion, really be involved and be engaged with the class. And like I said, lecture outlines are provided along with the lecture notes. So really that'll help you take notes. It'll help you cover those key terms for exams. Discussion questions that are on the lecture outlines, you don't have to answer those. That's just sort of, here are some of the big things, overarching questions I'm going to be answering during the lecture. Some of that might help you in preparing for papers if you can pay attention to some of the things we are addressing each week. We're going to be respectful in here. So please use respectful language to refer to groups, individuals, and fellow students. Disagreement is totally fine. I am all for disagreement. You just have to be respectful when you do it. Historians love to argue with each other. We are always respectful of one another when we do so. Again, please don't plagiarize. Also, contact me if you need anything. I'm on campus 4 days a week. If you want to do a Google Hangout or Skype for a face-to-face meeting, if you don't come to campus, if all your classes are online, we could do that. We could do a phone call. We could do whatever. If you need me, contact me, okay? If you miss 2 weeks of class, that's all you get. If you miss 3 weeks of class, you are dropped from the class. So that includes participation. If you don't turn in participation for 3 weeks of the semester, you are dropped from the class. You can miss 2. And that's it. Okay, and that's 20% of your grade, so I wouldn't recommend missing 2 because I think we have like 12 or so maybe of them. So if you miss 2, that's kind of a big deal. So I wouldn't really recommend it, but you can miss 2 weeks of class. Take the enrollment verification quiz. That is on Blackboard. Please do it by the 14th to remain in the class. That is our census date. Okie dokie then. All right, and then religious and solemn observance. Please contact me and get approval for a religious or solemn observance absence within 2 weeks before the date, and we'll make sure you fill out the form and all of that stuff. Of course, contact me with any questions if you need to do that and you're not sure how. And we're making sure that we focus on faculty first. So if you and I have an issue, whether it's a communication issue or you're unhappy with something or you feel that something is unfair, the first step is to contact me about it. Okay? Because, I've had simple miscommunications with students before, and they've come to me or I've gone to them and we've talked about it, straightened it out, everything's fine, everybody's fine. So we're all adults. If you have a problem or an issue and you think that, we need to talk about something, please, please, please contact me and we will talk about it. If you feel that the issue is too big and you cannot take it to me or something like that, you can follow the next step, and that would be to the director that is listed below, that faculty first step. So this is just a little chart of what to do. So please come to me first if you have an issue, right? Because, if we have an issue, I don't know unless you tell me. So we can work it out, okay? All right, so that is the syllabus. If you have any questions, please contact me and let me know. And of course, make sure that you have also looked at that Blackboard video as well. I look forward to a successful spring semester.